Mommy, why's the sky turning orange? Eliza Hartwell glanced at the rearview mirror, her heart squeezing at the sight of her 3-year-old daughters, Ivy and Ruby, clutching their worn teddy bear between them. Their matching blonde curls caught the late afternoon light streaming through the cracked windshield of her SUV. She forced a smile, though exhaustion weighed heavy on her shoulders. "It's just the sunset, sweetheart," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. But it wasn't the sunset. Smoke was beginning to curl from beneath the hood. Eliza's hands tightened on the steering wheel as she steered toward the shoulder of the empty highway. Her mind drifted to Daniel, her husband, gone 3 years now in a car accident just like this. The twins had been only months old. She remembered holding them at his funeral, promising she'd make something of the life he had left behind. She'd used part of his insurance money to build her app company, connecting rural communities with essential services. But lately it all felt hollow. The investors were pulling out, the company was failing, and she was so tired of trying to fill the emptiness with work. The engine coughed, sputtered, then died completely. "Mommy?" Ruby's small voice carried a note of fear. "It's okay, baby. We're just, taking a little break." But as Eliza unbuckled her seatbelt, she smelled it. Acrid, chemical, wrong. Smoke wasn't just curling anymore, it was billowing. Her heart lurched into her throat. She twisted around, seeing the girls' frightened faces, and then she saw the flicker of orange beneath the dashboard. Fire! No, no, no. Her fingers fumbled with the door handle, but it wouldn't budge. The electronic locks had failed with the engine. Panic surged through her veins. She hammered at the window, screaming into the empty highway. "Not like this! Not like Daniel! Mommy!" Ivy was crying now, and Ruby joined her, their small hands pressed against the glass. Eliza threw her shoulder against the door, again and again, feeling the heat growing behind her. Smoke filled the cabin, burning her lungs. She couldn't reach the girls. Then, through the thickening smoke, she saw him. A man was running toward them, tall, broad-shouldered, his flannel shirt flapping open over a grease-stained undershirt. He grabbed a rock from the roadside and smashed the driver's window with one powerful strike. Glass exploded inward. Cool air rushed in, and Eliza gasped, coughing. "Can you move?" His voice was urgent but steady. "My daughters." He was already at the back door, smashing that window too. The flames were visible now, licking up from beneath the dashboard. He reached through the shattered glass, his arms cut and bleeding, and unbuckled Ivy first, pulling her through. Then Ruby, who screamed for her mother but clung to the stranger's neck. "Go, run to my truck." He pointed to an old pickup parked on the shoulder, then reached back for Eliza. She was frozen, staring at the fire, seeing Daniel's accident all over again. His hand closed around her wrist. "Ma'am, now!" The urgency broke through her paralysis. He pulled her through the window just as the flames reached the front seat. They ran, Eliza stumbling, him half carrying her, until they reached his truck where the girls huddled together sobbing, but alive. Behind them, the SUV exploded with a dull whoomph, sending a fireball into the darkening sky. Eliza collapsed against the truck, her legs giving out. The man knelt beside her, his gray eyes scanning her face with concern. "You're safe now," he said quietly. "All of you are safe." She looked at him, really looked. His face was streaked with soot, his arms bleeding, his breathing labored. He'd risked his life without hesitation. "Thank you," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "You don't understand. My husband, he died in a car accident 3 years ago. I thought history was repeating itself." His expression softened with understanding. "I'm sorry, but you're here now. They're here. That's what matters." "What's your name?" "Carter," he said simply. "Carter Mackenzie." The next morning, Carter woke to a sound he'd never heard on his farm, the rhythmic thunder of helicopter rotors. He stumbled from his small farmhouse, shielding his eyes against the rising sun, and stopped dead. 3 helicopters were landing in his north field. His mouth fell open. What in the world? Within minutes, people emerged, men and women in business attire, carrying equipment, surveying gear. A news crew. And then from the largest helicopter, Eliza Hartwell stepped out, her daughters holding each hand. Carter's heart did a strange flip. He hadn't expected to see her again. Last night, after the fire department came and statements were taken, she'd thanked him one more time and disappeared into an ambulance. He'd gone home, bandaged his cuts, and tried to sleep. Eliza walked toward him, her expression unreadable. The girls broke free and ran to him, wrapping their small arms around his legs. "Mr. Carter!" Ivy squealed. "You saved us!" Ruby added, beaming. He knelt down, overwhelmed. "Hey there, little ones. You feeling okay?"
Eliza reached them, and he stood. For a moment, they just looked at each other. "Mr. Mackenzie, Carter," she began, her voice tight with emotion. "I spent all night trying to figure out how to thank you. How do you thank someone who gave you back everything that matters?" "You don't have to. Please, let me finish." She took a shaky breath. "I did some research. I found out you lost this farm to medical debt 2 years ago when your sister got sick, that you've been working 3 jobs trying to buy it back, that you could have driven right past us, but you didn't." Carter's jaw tightened, his private struggles laid bare. "How did you—" "I'm good at finding information," she gestured to the helicopters. "Carter, my company was collapsing yesterday, the same day you saved our lives. After the accident, lying awake last night, I realized something. When my husband died 3 years ago, I poured everything into building a business. I thought success would honor his memory, but I was wrong. It wasn't the money or the achievements he would have wanted. It was kindness, compassion, making a real difference in people's lives." She pulled out a folded document. "This farm is worth about $300,000. Consider it bought, in your name, fully paid." Carter staggered back. "What? No, I can't." "You can, and you will." Tears glittered in her eyes. "But there's more. I'm shutting down my app company. I'm starting a foundation that identifies everyday heroes like you and helps them rebuild their lives. You're our first story. And Carter, I want to work with you to create a community workshop here, teaching young people real skills, mechanics, farming, things that save lives. This is how I honor Daniel now, through kindness, through you." The world tilted. Carter looked at the helicopters, the people, the girls grinning up at him, then back at Eliza. "Why me?" His voice cracked. Eliza's composure finally broke. "Because you saw us when we were invisible. You decided 2 little girls and their mother mattered more than your own safety. That's not something you repay with money. That's something you honor with a life dedicated to the same principle." The girls tugged at his hands. "Does this mean you'll be our friend?" Ivy asked softly. He knelt down again, his vision blurring. "Yeah, Kiro, I'll be your friend." Over the following weeks, the farm transformed. Eliza's foundation drew national attention. Donations poured in. Carter taught teenagers how to fix engines, how to weld, how to grow food. Eliza worked alongside him, her daughters playing in the fields, their laughter filling spaces that grief had once occupied. One evening, as the sun painted the sky orange, Carter and Eliza sat on his porch while the girls chased fireflies. "Do you think your husband would be proud?" "I think he'd say, I finally figured it out. That legacy isn't what you build, it's what you give." She turned to him. "You taught me that, Carter. You showed me that one moment of courage, one act of selfless kindness can change everything." He nodded. "My sister used to say, we don't remember days, we remember moments." Smart woman. She was. He paused. She would have liked her. Eliza reached over and squeezed his hand briefly. "I think I would have liked her too." The girls ran up breathless. "Mommy, Mr. Carter, look, we caught one!" Ruby held up a jar with a firefly blinking inside. "What are you going to wish for?" he asked.
Ivy and Ruby looked at each other, then at their mother, then at him. "We don't need wishes anymore," Ivy said seriously. "We already have everything." Carter's throat tightened. He looked at Eliza, who was wiping her eyes. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" Eliza whispered. "Daddy sent Mr. Carter to save us, so we'd always be safe." Eliza pulled both girls into a hug, and Carter joined them, the four of them wrapped together as stars appeared overhead. Kindness isn't just something we do. It's how we honor the people we've lost, and how we build a future worthy of their memory. Carter nodded, his voice steady. And when we give from the heart, we create something that never dies. We create hope. Ruby opened the jar, and the firefly flew up into the night, joining its companions, a tiny beacon of light in the darkness. Sometimes salvation comes in the split-second decision of a stranger who sees your humanity when you've forgotten it yourself. And sometimes that moment plants a seed that grows into something neither could have imagined, a future built not on what was lost, but on what was freely given. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.